Hey guys, so this is just my reintroduction on my new channel, Medical Clips. So welcome to Medical Clips. So I'm going to leave some links and some videos in my playlist to extend on this short reintroduction. But I just want to say, for whoever has been following me on my journey on my other channels and is now starting to connect with me on Medical Clips to continue following me on my health journey. I just want to recap for those of you who don't know. In 2021, I was perfectly healthy. And in 2021, February 5th to be exact, I started taking some pills that I was given in late January, and I had my hesitation on taking them. But I was having some stomach pains for a few months. The last part of 2020, I was having some stomach pains in my abdomen. It wouldn't go away. I got some blood tests. I got some CT scans. I got some urine tests. Everything was inconclusive, meaning they couldn't find anything wrong with me. Now, I've always been against taking medication from doctors and taking treatments from doctors, especially if they can't find anything, if nothing's conclusive. Now, if you don't find any type of infection or any type of virus or any type of sickness through urine and blood, urine and blood is very, very accurate. Usually 99.9% accurate that they're going to find something if something's wrong with you in your blood cells or your urine. They did all the scan, no masses, nothing that indicated cancer. They did all kind of procedures on me. Some of them were even invasive, but nothing was medication, based. So I should have never made a decision to take a so-called antibiotic from this doctor after everything came back inconclusive. I was like, well, man, my stomach's still hurting. What's going on? So the doctor, as a result of not being able to find anything, instead of me going by my right mind, never trusting doctors for the most part. I'm not talking about a primary care physician who's just taking your blood pressure or, looking at your ears, looking at your eyes and drawing blood. I'm talking about I never take medications from doctors, and I've always preached that. I know I'm rambling. I know I'm long-winded, but I'm getting to my point. And I need you guys to know this because it's very critical. You guys learn this lesson. He said, hey, I think this antibiotic is going to take care of whatever's going wrong, whatever's making your stomach hurt. Now, keep in mind, this could have been an abdomen pull. It could have been indigestion. Everything came back inconclusive for something critical of a disease or anything like that. So I took it because I was at the mercy of the doctor because I was in pain. A lot of times pain or discomfort, it has you at the doctor's mercy because you don't know what else to do when everything else has come back, nothing's wrong with you. But what you need to do is ride it out. I didn't. I took the so-called antibiotic, couldn't walk for a month and a half. I was on disability. My whole body was hurting. I was fatigued. I couldn't get out of bed. I had to call off work and get on short-term disability. I was bedridden after taking this pill he gave me a 10-day regimen of these so-called antibiotics. And I took them for nine days. And I was already hurting and struggling within the 7th or 8th day. But for some strange reason, I kept taking them. I didn't go by my first mind. I didn't go with my instincts. Long story short, I researched what was happening to me. I researched the pills, which I had already done, but I didn't go in depth. I did an in-depth research on the pills, and come to find out that the drug was called levofloxacin, the generic brand. The brand name was Levaquin. Okay? They still sell this, folks. They still sell this. I ended up finding out that was a chemotherapy pill. And when you do your due diligence and you study the lawsuit, because they were sued in a class action lawsuit, it was nationwide. I didn't know this before I was given this pill. But the doctor knew it and the hospitals knew it because these class action lawsuits are public access. So I know the hospital knew about it And I know the doctor knew about it. So what it did was it diminished all my muscle mass. It deteriorated all my muscle mass. It deteriorated all my collagen, all my cartilage. I had bone loss. Like I said, I had a lot of mass muscle loss. I had brain fog. I had blurry vision, still do, kind of. I had suicidal thoughts. And on top of that, I had heart problems. I ended up having valve leaks. My mitral valve, my pulmonic valve, and my tricuspid valve. All my valves were leaking. It says valve regurgitation, which is basically leaky valve. So it tore up my valves, and it also makes you susceptible to aortic aneurysms. The aorta valve, or the aorta that's connected to your heart, that can explode, that can rupture. So it has high incidence of aortic aneurysms, and also other heart problems. So now it's 2026. I've had all kind of different treatments. I had to go through physical therapy. I had to learn how to walk again. I was even on a walker at one point. And keep in mind, this is a month and a half after taking levofloxacin, okay, which is part of a classification of drugs called fluoroquinolones. It's a lot to this. If you study fluoroquinolones, they're some of the most toxic and lethal drugs on the face of this earth. And actually, the FDA, on the FDA's website, I didn't realize it until after the fact, after I got poisoned. But on the FDA's website, it said doctors are not supposed to give this unless they're on their deathbed. Like, say they have something like pneumonia, or they have something like been poisoned by anthrax. And anthrax can take you out, I think, within hours or days, so some type of situation when you're on your deathbed and you need something to keep you alive in that moment, that's when they say you're supposed to take levofloxacin out. And that's even dangerous, but you're going to be left with some injuries. Anyway, the product information on Levaquin says that this can injure you up to 7 years long, because what it does, it damages your DNA, and it damages your blood cells in real time, and it actually changes your DNA, which is what a chemotherapy pill does. And it's indiscriminate when it destroys your cells. It destroys all your blood cells like a chemo pill, but it's indiscriminate. Whereas chemotherapy, true chemotherapy, is less indiscriminate. It goes more towards the cancer cells, and it's less discriminate against the healthy cells, whereas this is indiscriminate. So if you're healthy, it's not going to discriminate. It's going to go throughout your body, and it's going to damage everything. And when for something to damage the structure of your DNA, that's just detrimental is an understatement. I mean, that's devastating. Okay, and those of you who say, "Oh no, my doctor is giving it to me," or I've heard of doctors giving this to other people, or they still give this out of pharmacies and it's an antibiotic. For those of you who are going to Google it and say, "Oh yeah, it's an antibiotic," Greg Presley is lying. No, they're marketing it as an antibiotic. And like I said, I'm going to supply you with the product information, either a link, or it's going to be on my playlist, or both. But look for it. It's two parts. It's a minute and a half and a minute and a half. It's a 3-minute, it's a quick informational video about levofloxacin, okay? And what it does to you from a scientific standpoint. I'm using scientific literature. Johnson & Johnson is the parent company of levofloxacin. And that's the company who makes Johnson & Johnson is the one. Baby powder, all that kind of stuff, baby shampoo. Johnson & Johnson is the parent company of Levaquin, brand name. Levofloxacin is the generic brand name. Johnson & Johnson got sued around, I might be wrong, but look it up, guys. Look it up. I want you to look up all this information. They got sued when they found out that the biological composition of it, the scientific composition of it, is that of a chemotherapy pill. It's chemicals that changes the structure of your cells and your DNA. Antibiotics don't do that. They just kill bacteria and viruses. Most of all, bacteria. Okay, chemotherapy is what damages cells. They got sued because they found out about all this, and in December 2017 they stopped production. Now I know you guys are thinking, oh, well, how'd they stop production if it's still in pharmacies? Well, the reason why it's still in pharmacies is because 9 years ago, remember this was 2017, December of 2017, when they stopped production of it after they lost the lawsuit, because it killed people. It killed hundreds of thousands of people, and damaged even more, probably millions. When they lost the lawsuit, they had to cease production, and when they ceased production on levofloxacin, what do you think they did with all the rest of the inventory? When you stop production on a medication, it doesn't just disappear. All those billions of dollars worth of inventory, they should have dumped it in some landfill or burned it up in an incinerator or something, but they didn't. All those stockpiles of inventory, they've been selling it off and overprescribing it to get rid of it and to keep making money off of the inventory of these killer drugs that should have been destroyed. So that's why they're still in pharmacies, and they'll continue to be in pharmacies until all that inventory is peddled off onto unwitting patients such as myself. So now, to end this quickly, I was trying to make this a little bit more brief, but to end this quickly as far as my journey is concerned, now it's 2026. I have heart failure. It's extended to heart failure now, because remember I told you it can injure you up to 7 years. That was 2021. It's 2026 now. I'm in my 5th year of this stuff damaging me. But I'm lucky to be alive, because one pill can kill you, and I took 9 of them. So I can get into a lot of this about how I tried to sue and the Ohio laws that prevent you from suing doctors and hospitals. I can get into all that, but I want to cut this a little bit short and just let you know that welcome to Medical Clips, and welcome to all of you that were following me on my other channels. And so I'm just going to end it there, because things that I left out, I'll get to it in other videos, but I just didn't want this to go too long. I just wanted to just reintroduce myself, tell you a little summary of my journey and what happened to me. And I'm glad to still be living. The doctor that poisoned me, I'm not going to say the name of him. I don't want to get kicked off of YouTube, and I'm not going to say the name of the hospital. But the hospital, and it's a major hospital, it's world renowned. Let's put it like that. It's world renowned. So if you know the world renowned hospital in Cleveland, you'll know what it is if you just Google it or something. I'm not going to say it on here, but it's a world renowned hospital here in Cleveland. The hospital that allowed him to do this to me, they got rid of him. I guess to avoid any liability, but it's almost impossible to sue in Ohio. 90 to 99% of all medical incidents or medical malpractice cases don't even make it to court. So it's extremely rare to even get this to go to court, let alone win. So, but anyway, I'm lucky to be alive, y'all. I'm glad I'm still here to have you guys here on my journey, and I'll keep you posted. And I'm gonna have a lot more medical information, not just from me, but you know, hopefully documentaries, updated scientific information about new medicines that have problems, kind of like how drugwatch.com does, and they're advocates for the patient, like a patient advocacy group, and a patient advocacy website, like they are. I'm going to do kind of sort of the same thing. So everything on here is going to be advocacy for patients who have either been injured, or people who have had people die, or people that is already healthy but want to know about what to do to stay healthy, what medicines to stay away from, what surgical procedures are high risk that they're just doing just to bill insurance companies, and their risky surgeries that they're not making the public aware about. Anything that's about public awareness in the medical field, this is what this channel is based off of. Even when it comes to giving I may eventually start giving out doctors' names and lists of doctors who are public access, who have been kicked out of hospitals or sued. I may start doing that, but I need my channel to grow so I can see the legal ins and outs about how to do that. But anyway, thank you for allowing me to reintroduce myself. And it's a day-to-day journey. You know, I'm on medication for the rest of my life. I believe in holistic medicine. So I'm trying to do things the holistic way in order to, if not completely heal my heart failure, I at least want to get off the majority of my medications. And those things have been done. It's rare, but those things have been done, have been accomplished. So thank you. And like, share, subscribe, comment. And I'll see you on the next video as I continue this journey. Thank you.